Morgan Evans, musicians in bars getting beer. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing good.
Good.
Little hot from the stage tonight.
Yeah, great show, man.
Thank you.
All right, so tell me about your band.
Killer Bee. I've been in the band 20 years. We had a great 90s run. We had a #1 hit over in Europe. We toured with everybody. It was a dream come true. My first tour I did was 23 flights, and we were touring with Plant Page, Rod Stewart, Elton John, Sheryl Crow, Oasis, numerous bands. And we got a lot of exposure, and everything went great in the 90s. And then we had problems with some management, and the band decided to take a break after 3 years of touring in Europe. We did Russia, Norway, Sweden, Austria, Switzerland, Germany, Denmark, Crete, Canary Islands.
How many people would you say you played in front of?
Oh, 145 was the biggest crowd.
Wow.
145,000.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Wow. Holy
And the
smokes.
biggest crowd we headlined was 36,000 or 34,000.
Wow, brilliant.
It was, we played Harley Fest in both Austria and Switzerland, and I can't remember, I think it was the Austria one that was the 36,000 people through the gate. But I mean, they weren't really there for us, they were there for Harley, so I had to share the bill with Harley Davidson, which isn't a bad deal.
Not a bad deal. Well, you've been a long way since high school band, man.
Oh, yeah.
We've known each other from what, 18 years old?
Yeah.
But,
I remember being on the high school band bus with you going to Montreal or somewhere.
I almost brought Southern Comfort with me tonight.
No, I think we had Southern Comfort on the bus. That's funny.
Yeah, man. All right. So, so the band's got a few albums, I guess.
Yes, we've got 6 out, and we've got the 7th already in the bag. Paul Chapman just joined the band, obviously from UFO. Everybody knows him. We're just going to redo some guitar tracks on the album that's already in the bag, and once that's done, we'll release that. We already shot video for it.
Cool.
Yeah, some cool video stuff besides the live stuff and the touring stuff, and the just fun daily stuff that we do. We went and had production done, and it's a blow-away video as far as I'm concerned for the new album.
Wow. So he's not just the tour member; he's in the band now.
Yeah, he joined the band.
Wow, that's awesome.
And how that happened was I was working with a singer back in the late '80s named Dave Edwards, and he had introduced me to Paul Chapman in the '80s, and I was hoping to get into a band with him and Dave at the time, but Paul had his own drummer come from England, so I didn't get that gig. It was already set up before I was even in the picture. Anyway, I kept in touch with Paul for a little while, and I hadn't talked to him since the '80s, and we needed a guitar player. We were stuck, and because we had a guitar player, and he had to back out for family reasons, and with 2 days before the tour was starting, you know, we didn't even have a guitar player, and Dave Edwards said, "Why don't you call Paul Chapman?" I said, "I can't call Paul Chapman. I haven't talked to him since the '80s." He says, "I'll call him." So he calls him and he says, "Here's Paul's email address. Send him a few tracks of Killer Bee," right? So I sent him 4 new tracks, and all of a sudden my cell phone rings and it's Paul Chapman. Says, "I'm in."
Yeah. Wow.
Never talked money, never talked anything. He just said, "I'm in," and bang, he joined the band, and it's been great. It's been great.
Awesome. So this tour is taking you all over North America.
Yeah, we did 5 weeks on our own, slugging it out in the bar circuit and just bigger clubs kind of deal. Now we're out 22 shows with Bullet Boys and Gunzo, which is
LA Guns.
Yeah, no, it's not LA Guns. It's Tracy
Guns.
Tracy Guns and Rudy Sarzo.
Rudy Sarzo, yeah.
Yeah, of course everybody knows who he is, and so we're doing this tour, and there's talk about doing more tours together with these 3 bands or Gunzo and us. We're in the works and for something in Europe, but nothing's confirmed. We're just talking about it. That might be the next run we do.
Wow, seems to work good together.
Yeah, great guys.
Yeah.
Can't go wrong.
That's cool.
You know.
So what else? You want to tell me a little more about history, or?
No, I mean, you know, people can find us anywhere on the internet. We're on every, you know, download page or ever, you know.
You got any funny stories from the road? That's what everybody says.
Okay, I'll tell you.
Off, maybe.
I'll tell you a funny story.
All right.
Okay, when I first joined Killer Bee, I'd never played in Germany before. Okay, so I had to fly from Toronto to Frankfurt, Germany. I'd never been there, like I said, to Germany before. And I was meeting the tour bus at one of the terminals and exits there. And so it was 7:30 in the morning when we landed, and I was half in the bag and a little hungover from trying to sleep on the flight, had a few glasses of wine. And actually the stewardess had woke me and said, Morgan, Mr. Evans, wake up. And I was the only one on the plane. I was like Twilight Zone. I got my bags off the plane, and I'm walking through the terminal at 7:30 in the morning, and a couple of workers at the airport walked past and went, Morgan, and I put my hand out to shake their hand, and they just kept walking. And then a couple of stewardesses and a captain walked past, and they went, Morgan, and I put my hand out to shake their hand, and they just kept walking. And I'm going, what the hell? Everybody knows my name here. I don't know. Everywhere I went, people said Morgan, and I'm going, how come everybody knows my name? Like, Killer Bee must be huge. Anyway, so I get to the terminal where I'm supposed to meet the bus, and the bus wasn't there, so I sat down in this cafe. And as soon as I sat down, this waitress comes over and says, Morgan. And I said, how the hell do you know my name? And she went, uh-huh. And I went, you said Morgan. That's my name. How do you know my name? She says, Guten Morgen.
Guten Morgen. That's awesome, buddy.
So there's your story.
Funny. Okay, the camera's going to go off now, and you can tell me some real stories.
Yeah. All right.
Thanks for being on Musicians in Bars Getting Beer, buddy.
Hey, super cool. Thanks for having me.
All right, take care.
Cheers.
Cheers.